videos on my home, Pearl Street, the block between 14th and 15th. Starbucks is my home. That Starbucks in specific. See, for people who are autistic, having a sense of familiarity and routine is important. If you disrupt that, it's difficult for us to overcome. A lot of times before I speak, I have to rehearse it so that I can explain it in a way that they can understand. If people interrupt that rehearsal, it interrupts my ability to communicate effectively and to say the things that I need to say. If people are constantly interjecting and interrupting, it interrupts my ability to communicate and to catch where I left off last. It's an eidetic memory. I can see things visually, not as in hallucinations, but the way things move. I also remember things as a video, almost like a movie playing this in 3D. If I want to move pieces, then I can imagine them in my head as if they're actual pieces. But it is dependent upon the environment. Now, I didn't really have a home growing up. There was no place where people understood me or even tried. So when I moved to Boulder in 2008, I met Miss Bobby, Roberta Richards. She's tiny. She's a pretty small lady, but I wouldn't mess with her. She had dated a man in Florida with Asperger's, so she was already familiar with it. The very first conversation Miss Bobby and I ever had was about autism and Asperger's and how difficult it can be for people to understand it and communicate with people who have it. Miss Bobby made it safe for me. Every manager that they had over a 7-year period, I had a great deal of consideration from. With my friend Aaron, he was an employee there, and he was a much bigger man, so anytime there was an issue with the homeless, he was the one who had to ask them to leave. As a result, he was targeted by some of the less mentally stable individuals that were homeless, and they threatened to kill him on several occasions. So I started escorting the people who worked there out to the garbage, just to make sure they were safe. My daily routine is to go to Starbucks and then remain in Starbucks, either doing research or watching videos or drawing pictures and helping homeless people out. Or when I had a job during the day, I would go there before work and then after work. When I worked at the Cheesecake Factory, I bring Miss Bobby cheesecake on payday. Losing her was a pretty big loss. When I get to see her, it's very exciting for me. It's sad, but it's happy too. For me, not being able to go home, not being able to see my loved ones, including Miss Bobby, it's difficult for me. It's a change in routine that's difficult for me to accept. It's also a change in routine that's, when I was talking about, a change in routine, how it disrupts my ability to work on things. But that's one of the major ones. I mean, it's not just a disruption in my routine, it's a disruption emotionally. It's an emotional loss. It's it's also a physical loss. But it wasn't just the fact that I lost the Starbucks. It's the fact that there were so many people there that I had so much respect for that I'm no longer able to see, no longer able to converse with. Just the ability to walk them out to the garbage can. That gave me a sense of safety and security because it was routine. It also gave me a sense of safety and security because I do care greatly about those people. And being able to keep and maintain their safety is as important as keeping and maintaining my own. A lot of people think that folks who are autistic are devoid of emotion, almost like I should remember the word, psychopaths. But it's not so. It's more so of the fact that people have expectations of us when we have an emotional issue. They expect us to react in a specific way or a certain way. So we have to learn to hide our emotions, to not let people see them, especially if it's an emotion that most people would characterize as negative. There really aren't negative emotions. We have all of our emotions for a reason. But for me, an expression of happiness is something that's exceptional. It's something that people like to see. It's also something that brings joy to their lives. Because I'm a very energetic person, naturally. But when it's an emotion that's difficult for me to process, it's not the emotion itself that's difficult for me to process. It's people's reaction to me having that emotion. Like, I'm not allowed to have it. If I do have that emotion, I express less of that emotion than someone else would before I am punished for it. As a result, I eventually learn to not express that emotion. I also learned growing up that people will assault me for my differences. And because of the differences that I have, many people, especially in a position of authority, will assume that I'm the one who is wrong, or assume that I'm the one who started it. Also, given the places that I grew up in, where I was attacked a lot, and having an older brother who believes that might makes right, I had to learn not to defend myself, not to hit back, not to kick back, just to take the punishment. And if somebody was assaulting me, they could assault me for 5 minutes straight. I just had to take it. Now, where the real fear comes in is when I'm bound. Being trapped is something that is scary for anybody. When you're separated from your loved ones and you're in an environment, a new environment where people are screaming, that's scary no matter who you are. Being bound, though, that's where you're let me explain it this way. Let's say you have a robber come into your house and they tie you up on your bed or wherever else, tie you to the kitchen sink, wherever it happens to be, and then they just start beating you. It's a different scenario now. Now it's no longer a choice that you're making not to defend yourself. It's I cannot defend myself. I can't cover up. I can't curl up into a fetal position. I am exposed entirely. And that increases the fight or flight mechanism. Part of your brain that is triggered for survival, to protect yourself. Self-preservation. So any situation where you're not only separated from what's your normal reality, but anything that binds you, a seatbelt could bind you. If you can't get it out and it's stuck there, that'll freak somebody out. But for somebody who's autistic, being bound in that way, especially given the history of how most autistic people in the United States are treated. It triggers the fight or flight mechanism even further. For most of us, though, we're not allowed to react. So, in order to avoid the punishment of reacting to this danger, or apparent danger, or as some people say, perceived danger, it's not so much that it's a perceived danger, it's that it is itself a danger. If something goes wrong, as it often does, this is something that could create an issue. It's kind of like if you're driving at night, and your lights are off, and you can't turn them on, and you pull over. For most people, that's alright. You can pull over because it's unsafe for you to drive. Your lights aren't working. For somebody who's autistic, you're not allowed to pull over. I don't know how to explain that in another way. I guess the whole thing behind that is if you pull over as an autistic person, the thing that you're having in your head is if I don't pull over, then I could run into someone or something, and that's a definite possibility. Also, there's a possibility that the police could pull me over because my lights are off, and you're not allowed to have your lights on. So that's another perceived possibility. It's an actual possibility. There's cops all over on the road. There's other drivers on the road. There's animals that cross the road at night that you may not see unless you but it's also the fact that whether you drive with the lights off or pull over with the lights off for your own safety, you're not allowed. You're not allowed to do either one when you're autistic. Also, there aren't visual markers like there would be if, say, you broke your leg and having a cast, or if you have Down syndrome, there's a particular look. People with autism don't have that. There's one young woman who she was considered a model. People always make comments about her page on Facebook, how she could be a model. It was actually her mother's Facebook page. This woman, she couldn't speak. She was in a wheelchair most of the time because she could barely stand. She's highly intelligent based on the information that I've seen on Facebook, but it's the number of people who don't know her who say she could be a model. It's because she's physically attractive. Then when you meet her in person, she bites, she pulls hair, she's proximity sensitive. If you're too close to her, she's afraid that you're going to do what it is that many people do when they're confronted with a situation where they're afraid of another person. They tend to react to that person in an aggressive way. So for somebody who's autistic and they're scared, oftentimes if there's a police interaction, the police will slam them to the ground, put cuffs on them, and for this woman, she can't explain that she's autistic. She can't explain that she is different from everyone else. So when the police see her, they would think she must be on drugs. She's physically attractive, she's able to stand upright, but she's wobbly, she's almost falling over, she's not speaking English. These things all gather as factors in their brain to tell them that this person might be a danger to themselves or others, and she's not. She's just having difficulty standing because of the difficulties of her brain to body connection. But also because this young woman had previous experience with the police doing this to her, once outside of a Starbucks, and I can't remember the other scenario. But as a result of that, and also a lot of the treatment centers that she was at, she has a physically defensive reaction. It is defensive. For me, I don't have that physically defensive reaction where I will attack somebody in my proximity. But for her, because she can't communicate, that's the only way that she has to communicate to them to get away. And oftentimes she'll put her hands up and she'll push them away. But there's also the fact that the people that get on her mother's Facebook page tell her all the time how her daughter should be a model or could be a model or things like that. What they're thinking about is just the physically attractive part. They're not thinking about the fact that this woman does have other things going on in her own mind, and also her physical abilities play a factor. And for even the people who know her, who have met her in person, they make comments about her physical attractiveness. I can guarantee you, to this young woman who can't speak, who gets slammed to the ground for being autistic, she doesn't care what she looks like. It doesn't make any difference to her what she looks like. It matters to other people what she looks like. So when they're telling her mother how attractive her daughter is, her mother is thinking about this as well. She actually made a couple of different videos and statements about these. If you're going to say something about my daughter, say something about her as a human being. Say something about her as a person. Because that's what she is. She is more than just her looks. And if you can't see past her looks to see a human being in her, then her looks don't make any difference. For me, it's important to express that that's not just that way for autistic people. The whole world, or at least the American world, is like that, where somebody's value as a human being is highly dependent upon how they look. And we allow people who are attractive, physically attractive, to get away with things that we might not otherwise allow them to get away with, especially if it's someone of the opposite gender, or if we're interested in people of the same gender. I don't want to exclude people, and I don't like being excluded, so I don't see a reason to exclude others. If you see somebody that you find physically attractive, you are more likely to believe the words that they say. There was a study done at the University of California at Berkeley having to do with smiles. People tend to believe somebody with straight teeth, and the whiter their teeth are, the more believable their words become. For somebody who can't smile, or somebody who has bad teeth and is afraid to smile, or when they do, it just looks gross. They got blackness on their teeth, or they got cavities, or whatever. People tend to drift off while they're speaking. So this is a lot of stuff that I've not only experienced in my own life, but also I've researched these studies just because I want to know, am I right? And it's unfortunate, but oftentimes I am right. Not just in my own experience. I know that those are right, but also in studies from others. There are a few studies that I've been looking at recently that really popped up in my mind as this is BS. It doesn't match up with anything in my life. And then you come to find out that some of these studies, the American method, is what a lot of British were calling it at the time. The American method is to take one small control group of less than 10 people and base an entire study off of it. Who are you going to ask to take part in that study? Oftentimes these people are choosing their friends or family members, or you go to a dorm party, you're doing this study for your college project, and you're like, Missy is pretty. I like her, I want to spend more time with her, so I'm going to invite her to my study. And as a result, those studies are based entirely upon the situations or opinions of people who are physically attractive. it's difficult for me to explain what it's like not being physically attracted to somebody who is. But also, it's difficult for me to see their point of view because I've never been physically attracted. I make a lot of effort not to treat somebody like they're less of a person because of their physical attractiveness, and I also make a lot of effort to try to understand them and their point of view. But for me, being on the other end of the attractiveness scale, um, I also understand that people are less likely to listen to. They're less likely to hold their attention span unless I have something extraordinary about me, something wonderful about me. I started learning magic when I was younger. That was something that was different about me. I could do magic and people would give me positive attention, which is what many people crave, especially people with autism. We don't get enough positive attention. People are always assuming our intents or reasons or assuming what we're going to do or how we're going to react. And it's difficult for us to contend with that, especially if we're not on the attractive scale. Then we have to be brilliantly extraordinary. Not that we aren't. It's actually been shown that we teeter on the scale anywhere between 20 and 80 intelligence quotient points different from most others. Albert Einstein was autistic. When he was growing up, there were 3 different types of schools in Germany. There was the one for the kids who excelled, the one for normal kids, and the one for stupid kids. He went to the school for stupid kids. Leonardo da Vinci uh, was very likely autistic. Michelangelo, there's a possibility he was autistic. Nikolai Tesla, definitely autistic. Matter of fact, when it comes to Tesla, he's the one who discovered that we live on a giant nickel-cadmium battery. Thomas Edison, in order to get people to pay him money, instead of having a generator on your house that sucks energy out of the ground, he tried to portray it as you're actually taking the electricity and you're generating it at this power station. You're pushing it into the house and then it goes into the ground. Whereas in actuality, it's sucking it out of you. So all of the mathematics are in reverse. Positive is negative, negative is positive. And a lot of people think of an autistic mind that way, like we're reverse polarity. Um, that's a difficult thing to explain as well. But when Albert Einstein was asked by a reporter what it was like to be the smartest man on Earth, Albert Einstein replied, "I don't know, you'll have to ask Nikola Tesla." That's the honesty portion. A lot of people with autism have difficulties lying to someone. That's not that we aren't capable, it's that we just don't see the purpose, especially those with an eidetic memory. A lot of people call that a photographic memory, but that depends specifically on your definition of photographic. Some people can look down the street, look away, bless you, and tell you every detail. They can draw every detail. I can't. I can tell you what happened. It's a moving picture that may be devoid of some of the extraneous details, but it's going to contain the details that I was focused on and a few details that I was not focused on that just happened to catch my attention at the time. Or things that stick out to me. That's the importance of patterns. A lot of people who are autistic are excellent for code breaking. The United States military tries to hire people with autism for that reason. People who make videos, movies, and movie trailers will hire autistic people specifically because of that attention to detail and repetitious patterns. Also, when people build web pages, there's a lot of companies that will hire people who are autistic specifically because they'll notice things that other people won't. that doesn't just have to do with autism. It also has to do with many of the other things that are commonly associated with autism, like OCD. You consider OCD a bad thing, like somebody who touches the door handle 2 or 3 times before they can open the door. Um, you look at that and you go, that's weird, and you just want to step away from it. And Hollywood tends to grab a hold of a lot of those weird differences and uh, associate those with the bad guy, like an eye twitch, or Kaiser Sose with his wrist like this, played by Kevin Spacey, by the way. A lot of Hollywood bad guys have twitches like that. Like they have Tourette syndrome or OCD. Bless you. And that also creates a bad mental image in a lot of people's heads when they see somebody doing that in public. So for us, it's a complicated thing to try to do. It's called normalizing. Normalizing is where we try to act like a neurotypical. Neurotypical is a term that we use to describe somebody who is not autistic. Not everybody who's not autistic, because in many cases, there are people that are similar ideologically to us that may not be on the spectrum or may not be considered on the spectrum. That also depends country to country. If you're in Great Britain, for example, they now recognize that everyone has some degree of autism. Here in the United States, it's very different. Bless you. Here in the United States, we have what's called ADA therapy, and we tend to use this as a generalized overall fix. Anyone who is autistic can be cured with ADA therapy, whereas oftentimes ADA therapy, especially in the United States, becomes an abusive measure to punish people for things that don't hurt anyone. Similar to drugging people for having Tourette syndrome. Doing this with my eyes, it's not actually going to hurt you, but it's going to freak you out a little bit if you see me doing it in public. So then you want me to stop that. You want to give me medications that are going to damage my liver because you don't want to see me doing this. With my dad, there's a lot of stuff like that. When I was younger, he didn't want me to be fat. He wanted a good looking kid. So he put me on special diets. When I was in places that I wasn't with my father, he requested that they put me on special diets. Also, I had just regular kid acne when I was about 11 or 12. And those oxy pads were real popular at the time. And, you know, the more I used them, the more I broke out. And the more I broke out, the more he wanted me to have clean skin. And a lot of the places that I was at, they would give me antibiotics for this, so that I wouldn't break out as much. But they didn't help. Matter of fact, it made it so that my body eventually started to reject antibiotics. But the oxypads, it turned out that they were taking the oil from my skin and also burning the cellular structure on the outside of my skin. And that's actually what was giving me the pimples. So when I moved to Nebraska, I was still using the oxypads for a bit. But when I stopped, my pimples went away. By that point, I'd been the ugly, pimple-faced kid for long enough. I didn't really have much self-esteem. I'd been picked on a lot for having pimples, called pizza face. And then I did this with my eyes. Many of you who were in Denver in the 1980s know what Blinky's Fun Club is. A lot of people called me Blinky's buddy or things of that nature. A lot of the medications that I was using made whatever situation or characteristic that they were seeking to get rid of actually become worse. Their assumption that I wasn't thinking right had them giving me medications that made me so that I couldn't think right. Whereas really, they just didn't understand my line of thinking or the fact that I had multiple thought processes going on at once. So there's a lot that goes into this. And it's difficult here in the United States where You very much want to push drugs to fix everything, or punishment to fix everything. You can slap the Tourette syndrome out of a child, or you can drug the Tourette syndrome out of a child, or you can smack the autism out of them, or spank the autism out of them, or lock them up until the autism goes away. And it's this mentality that makes so many people who are autistic so afraid to go out into public, afraid to socialize, which creates social anxiety disorder or similar issues. It also gives us PTSD. And you're afraid to go out in public because you're going to be punished simply for being you. And then many of the people who you talk to or associate with, when you meet them, when you first meet them, they tell you just be you. And then over time, they realize you are a bit different. You still feel more comfortable with them, so you don't feel the need to normalize all the time. And normalizing is exhausting. For me, not doing this, I mean, this is basically me not controlling. It's just, it drives people crazy. When I'm making a video, a lot of times I'll look at myself in the screen to make sure that I'm not doing that. Many times when I'm speaking with somebody, I'll turn my head to the side, because although they can see an eyebrow raised or lower, they can't see that it's because my other eye is blinking. What I'd like to have happen is for people to see me doing that and just accept that it's who I am. It's just a part of who I am. If I have multiple thought processes going on, interrupting me continually is going to interrupt my thought process. And there's multiple ones going on. It's not an insult when I get frustrated. It's me trying to explain to you that drugs aren't going to help me. People telling you that I need medications for it. When I was on medication for that exact issue, they made me a zombie and made it so that I couldn't function, I couldn't think, I couldn't hold a conversation. I was basically done. The way that my brain functions without medication, it's a phenomenal gift. I've met people similar to myself as far as our thought processes go, and to see what they're capable of in the right environment, in the proper environment, in a loving environment, instead of an overly critical public or an overly critical family that just wants you to be normal. They can do phenomenal things, just like Albert Einstein, just like Nikola Tesla, just like uh, Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci. But without that proper environment, while we're subject to people's criticism and over-criticism and punishment for things that we do that don't hurt us, people actually hurt us for that. These ADA therapy, I can see it in some situations where it is important. Like if a girl who's autistic bites her wrists a lot, I can understand why you would want to put um, wrist braces on so that she bites the wrist brace. I can understand why you would put padding around it so she doesn't hurt her teeth. But at the same time, ADA therapy is not a fix-all for everything, and neither are medications. Most of the people that I know who are autistic who have what's called an outburst, it's environmental issues that are easily recognizable, easily changed, and it doesn't hurt you to change that behavior. When I was living with Jamie, she didn't like having wet sponges, and she didn't like the smell of mold. So she would take her sponge, take this sponge, instead of just setting it down like this on the counter, it's got kind of a flat side on it, right? So you set it up like this. If you set it up like this, it dries out quicker. First of all, that makes sense. So for somebody like me, I do a lot of things that are different or weird according to most, but it's because they make sense. That's common sense. Thank you, Jamie. That's a good tip for all the mothers out there who have to wash a lot of dishes. But also for me, when I was staying with her, it was not an issue for me to turn the sponge sideways like that. I knew that if I laid it like this, she was going to say something, and it might not even be some, bless you, it might not even be something positive. It might be her lashing out. But she's allowed to lash out for three reasons. Number one, it's her place. Number two, she is physically attractive, so people will let her get away with things like that. And number three, it is actually something that you would consider common sense after you really think about it. But for me, it was just a matter of, all right, I'm aware of the issue, and as a result, it's not an issue for me to turn it up sideways after I wash the dishes. However, asking other people to make small reparations towards me like that is like pulling teeth. Asking someone to set the sponge up sideways for me, or something similar, often results in people who want to argue with me or want to punish me for asking them. And if they think about it from their own point of view and perspective, they're thinking of it as a matter of routine as well. A lot of people do things not out of common sense, but out of routine. Not just autistic people. Like setting that sponge down this way. Your mom sets it down that way. Your dad sets it down that way. Your grandma sets it down that way. And after a week, they throw away the sponge because it stinks. And when you see somebody who sets it up this way, it really triggers something in your head that goes, man, that's weird. That's weird. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? And then when you explain it to them, they're like, well, it's still weird. Why is it weird? It's because it's different to you. It's something that you're not used to. But for you, that's acceptable. For myself, it's not. Anyway, that's probably going to be my last video for the day. I hope you all have a wonderful experience. I hope I taught you something.